Well, international condemnation is growing after the Israeli Navy attacked a flotilla of ships carrying humanitarian aid and peace activists to Gaza. Reports say up to 20 people were killed and dozens injured as Israeli commandos stormed the vessels over 100 kilometers off Gaza's coast. Some of the ships are now being towed to the Israeli port city of Ashdod. It's from there that RT's Paula Sleer now joins us live. Hi, Paula. So what are the latest developments on this? Is there any more news from where you are?
Well, from here, no. We're still waiting for these ships to be brought into Ashdod port. We are being told that this could happen any moment now. But what is significant is the international condemnation that is pouring in from all quarters of the world. The French Foreign Minister, Bernard Kouchner, has condemned this with profound shock. The Arab League says it is meeting later today. It is holding an emergency meeting to discuss the events that unfolded in the early hours of this morning. We're also hearing that Greece has announced it is suspending all military ties with Israel. At the same time, the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights says it too is extremely shocked at what has occurred. In Sweden, the Israeli ambassador has been called in for questioning. Now, the Israelis, for their side, the Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister, Danny Ayalon, says that the organizers of this Freedom Flotilla have close ties with Al-Qaeda and Hamas, and he says that on board these ships were weapons. We know that for the last few hours, the Israeli Defense Minister, Ehud Barak, has been on the phone with Turkish officials. Of course, Turkey was one of the first countries in the early hours of this morning to summon the Israeli ambassador there for questioning. At the same time, we are also hearing other Israeli ministers who have expressed regret, who have expressed sadness at the number of people killed in this confrontation. Some of the ministers in Israel suggesting that this was a media provocation, others saying that Israeli soldiers were really acting in self-defense. Having said that, though, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is likely to cancel his trip to the United States. He was due tomorrow, Tuesday, to have met with the American President Barack Obama. And this is in light of a tensioning of ties. Some analysts saying that the relationship at the moment between Israel and the United States is at one of its lowest ever. It will be a significant dampen on Israeli hopes that it could improve this, with Netanyahu now saying that he will probably remain at home to deal with this latest crisis.
We call on the Secretary-General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, to shoulder his responsibilities to protect the safety of the solidarity groups on board these ships and to secure their way to Gaza.
All right, Paula, can you give us a bit of information here on the humanitarian situation in Gaza at present, do you think?
Well, we know that there are 1.5 million people who live in Gaza, and the latest statistics do seem to suggest that about 80% of them live on aid that is given from the international community. We're also being told that at least 40% of them are unemployed. Having said this, and the international community responding to this by saying that this equals Gaza having a humanitarian crisis, Israel has come out and said that this is simply not true. Israel first put its borders in place. It imposed this economic blockade about 3 years ago when Hamas first came to power. The Israeli authorities saying that Hamas is a terrorist organization and as such it will have nothing to do with them. But this poses a real logistical problem in terms of how to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, with Israel being worried that within the humanitarian aid are supplies of weapons and ammunition. That aside, we've heard from just about every humanitarian organization that operates in and out of Gaza that the Israeli estimates do not in any way give real substance to the situation in Gaza, and that without humanitarian supplies coming in, people there will simply starve. And that is why aboard these 6 ships there were 100,000 tons of supplies, among them food, medical supplies, cement and other types of building material.
All right, RT's Paula Sleer live for us from the Israeli port of Ashdod. Thank you.